full-time jobs. So this is something that Queensland workers and Queensland businesses should be very proud of. Our government, of course, is focused on good jobs, better services and protecting Queensland's great lifestyle. And we're going to continue to do that by focusing on the good quality, skilled, full-time jobs that Queenslanders need in the future. With me today, of course, is Di Farmer, the Minister for Employment and for Training, and Di will say a few words as well, and then we're happy to take some questions.
This is fantastic news for Queensland. We've created 214,000 jobs since before COVID, and we are projected to create another 280,000 jobs within the next 3 years. Queensland was the first state, the only state to come out with a workforce strategy to connect good people to the good jobs that we're creating in Queensland. Our economy is going so strong that we've got all of those jobs ahead of us. We've invested in skills and training to make sure that our people can connect up with the jobs that are available now and in the future, and we are looking forward to working with the Commonwealth Government on their national jobs and skills strategy, because there is so much ahead of us in the future. So great news for Queensland employers and Queensland businesses, and great to see so many Queenslanders in work and looking to a great future.
Okay, happy to take any questions on that?
Very good. Do you have to adjust the workforce strategy when you see numbers like this? Does it change any forecasting or how you'll apply strategy?
Well, we're always monitoring that. We're constantly monitoring. That's why this data is produced on a monthly basis by the ABS, but we draw on a range of data points to ensure we can constantly monitor that. We'll do an update with our mid-year budget review in December, and then of course we'll look at future projections and put those in a more detailed fashion in our budget. But this is good news for Queenslanders, and they should be really proud of their efforts to drive very significant jobs growth in our state.
Where are you seeing a lot of the jobs growth?
Well, we know last month, this is the data for August. We know in July we've had significant employment growth really across Queensland, and so in places like the Gold Coast, Townsville and Cairns, we had very strong employment growth. We know overall, even the Sunshine Coast and Central Queensland, in places like Mackay, they've recorded very strong employment growth over the financial year just concluded. So across Queensland, Queenslanders are getting the benefit of a job, and a full-time job, and as a Labor Minister in a Labor government, I'm really proud to have delivered that with our businesses and with workers across the state.
It's great news for workers whose skills are in demand, but businesses say they can't get enough staff at the moment. And at what point do these really low unemployment figures actually become a drag on business when they can't get the staff?
Well, we see challenges in our economy all the time, but I think I'd rather have this challenge of strong employment growth, strong economic activity to provide pathways of opportunities. We know a job is the best thing a government and the best thing a Labor government can give to somebody, and with that creates a whole range of opportunities for them. But thanks to the work of Minister Farmer and thanks to the work across government that we're doing, we are trying to anticipate those challenges, which is why we put our workforce strategy together. We were the first state to hold a big workforce summit earlier in the year, so we're trying to get ahead of the curve there. But there are challenges, but we'll continue to work with business and industry to address those through a range of investments, through some strategic planning, and also through some big institutions like TAFE to help deal with that skills challenge.
Some businesses say they have to pay overs now to get those employees, and it's great for the employees, but at what point do you think there might be a tipping point where the really low unemployment figures may actually drag the economy back and make the economy less productive?
Well, I think we just see in Queensland strong economic growth. We've seen that consistently. We saw that in the most recent economic data that was released. Strong economic growth in Queensland, strong employment growth. Business confidence is still travelling well in Queensland, notwithstanding the challenges of inflation. So I think Queensland businesses know that we're in a strong position and we are well positioned for the future. And I think our strong health response to COVID positioned us so well for the future. We've got some challenges, but we're up to that challenge as a state, and we'll continue to deliver the jobs, the economic opportunities, and of course support for business, including big infrastructure investment, which we announced in the budget.
Just on land tax, a lot of Queenslanders are going to be receiving a letter because the valuation of their land and house has gone up. Why can't these exemptions be apply automatically to residents? Why do they have to go through and exempt themselves?
Exemption for?
For land tax, if they're a Queensland resident.
Well, that's always been the case, and we'll continue to apply the law as it's always been applied. But we know there's strong investment growth in Queensland across a range of sectors, including the property sector. There's been incredible investment in property over the last 2 years, so that's going to continue.
There have been suggestions that the land tax imposed might be unconstitutional. Did you receive legal advice before you implemented it, and what was that legal advice?
I answered that question yesterday, Tim. Anything else?
One on COVID.
Yes.
The World Health Organisation says the end is in sight for the pandemic, but now's not the time to ease up on infection control measures. What do you make of statements like that? Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel for the pandemic?
Well, I think the world looks forward to the end of the pandemic, but I think we have to be realistic about what's happening. We know the virus is still amongst us. We know the virus is still infecting Queenslanders and still putting significant pressure on individuals, on families, but also on our health system. So I think we can take some cautious optimism from those sorts of assessment from the World Health Organisation, but I don't think we can. I don't think we can conclude yet that the pandemic is over. The virus is still causing damage to individuals. It's still causing challenges for business, particularly with workforces, individuals that fall ill. So I think we still need to keep our guard up. This has been a very difficult and vicious enemy that has taken us on at an individual, a family, community and at an economy-wide level. And so we need to be very careful about that. People should still be prudent about their own health care and protecting themselves and others. We should never look askance at anyone who wears a mask if they feel they need to do that in the community. We should be mindful of taking those steps to protect ourselves and others. But Queenslanders have shown time and time again they've been up to that challenge. It's why we had one of the best health responses in the world, and it's now why we've got one of the best economic responses, resulting in the lowest unemployment rate in our state for 44 years.
Perhaps a question for Mr. Palmer.
Yeah.
The Greens are pushing today to make nursing and midwifery degrees free, in order to boost frontline workers in those areas, as they've done in Victoria. Is that something you consider supporting?
No, that's not currently on the current government's agenda. Anything else?
Unemployment rate, so it's 3.2% now. Sorry if I missed this at the
Yep.
start. What was it previously?
It was 3.8 last month, so that was 3.8 for July. Okay, thanks everyone.
Just a quick question. The Saudi-backed LIV tournament, there's been reports, the golf tournament, there's been reports, New South Wales says they're open to hosting that golf tournament. Would Queensland be open to hosting that Saudi-backed LIV tournament here, and would we consider using taxpayer funds to entice them to come?
Well, I've been advised there's been no approach to the Minister's office and there's been no approach to the department around that. So that's the current situation, and I think that'll probably stay the situation in the future. All right, thanks everyone.